Hello guys, my name is Zenya Asano. Here are some pictures that best represent who I am as an individual. I've asked my parents and my close friends to send me pictures that best represent me. Yeah. This is who I am, a loud, unfocused, and energetic person who can be heard anywhere, in class, hallways, heck, even in the streets. The reason for my unlimited amount of energy is because of my disability. Now, let's look up some examples. That's what people said to me before. Why are you such a weird person, Zenya? Well, I always respond with, well, homeboy, amigo, I guess you just gotta deal with it, don't ya? You're so loud, I can't even hear my own voice, my own thoughts. Said to my teachers so many times, I'm sorry for causing you so much trouble, past teachers, but for the record, neither can I. No way a person like you can write this. This had to be ChatGPT. I've heard this so many times. At this point, I'm practically ChatGPT version 2. I've been diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia, and it has been a challenge throughout my life. If you don't understand what ADHD means, it stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. According to the National Library of Medicine, ADHD is an ongoing pattern of inattention and hyperactivity impulsivity that interferes with functioning. Now, there are 3 main symptoms that ADHD people undergo. They are inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. This means a person having disabilities have difficulty staying on task, organized, sitting still, and difficulty just staying in control. Disability, according to the National Library of Medicine, limits readers' words accurately and with ease. It prevents people from reading correctly, preventing smooth reading styles. And the words on the page start moving and jumping. Everyone has always told me to embrace this power and called it a special power. But for the record, the power at times just felt pretty annoying. A lot of times I wanted to cure my disability, and it made me feel an outcast and vulnerable at school. And learning things and staying concentrated was extremely difficult. Now, let me provide you an example. In 5th grade, we had labeled reading books, leveled from A to Z, ranked from easiest to the hardest. Now, Z status was practically legendary. Back then, if you got that status, you were probably considered the NBA Hall of Fame, right next to Michael Jordan. Now, all my friends at the time were around like X level, and I was so much more behind. I was around M level in grade 5. Now, I was frustrated. I wanted to show that I was smart, and I worked so hard during the summer, reading so many Magic Tree House books. My eyes were about to fall off. I wanted to be one of the grades too. Now, when the reading test came closer, I wanted to prove everyone wrong, showing how talented and amazing I was. But when the test came, I only moved up 1 level, and it varied. And often the teacher said I was reading too fast, or I'm reading the wrong words, while everyone else moved up increments from 3 to 4. Now, I was so frustrated. I was so devastated. And I had a panic attack at school. My mom and dad had to pick me up. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I worked so hard. I put all of my effort in, and my grades didn't go back up. So, that's why I wanted to provide all of you guys an example of what it's like to have disabilities and what it's like to experience it. That's why this image would help you visualize what it's like to fit in the shoes of a dyslexic reader. Although I cannot speak for all dyslexic people, the words would move in different ways. And it would often happen when I was tired or distracted, causing some words to flip around and look wavy. Although dyslexia changes a person's unique capabilities of a brain, it negatively affects learning environments in school. As for ADHD, the impulsibility at school caused me to have difficulties with social cues. Ever since elementary school, the ability to maintain a conversation was extremely difficult to hold, and I would often blurt jokes which were deemed inappropriate. I never really understood personal space when growing up, and having the difficulty maintaining a normal distance away from another person was extremely difficult, as random bursts of spontaneous reactions would occur. I struggled understanding the unwritten rules of social interaction, and I always acted before I thought, not really understanding what the person might feel. Because of my bad social cues and my impulsibility, I didn't have much friends growing up. And friends who weren't just being nice were really challenging to find. And it took me almost middle school to catch up on these social cues. And I'm still messing them up right now, to this day. With all the challenges posed from ADHD and dyslexia, my mom would test many different methods, believe me, many, to develop my impulsibility, focus, reading, and sometimes it worked. I was basically, because I have two younger siblings, I was basically the firstborn guinea pig of my family. My mom made me do random things, making me feel extremely embarrassed, but I still love you, Mom. I wanted to show the most memorable ones to me, as well as the ones that were most beneficial. I'll be rating the methods and what they did to me. First off, the dangling ball. Now, this was one of my favorites, as my mom started making me do this around 6th grade. Basically, I would wake up, get ready for school, walk down the hall, and I would have a tennis ball, and I would dangle it, going from left to right, focusing on the ball. And honestly, it does sound pretty stupid, and I had to watch it for around a whole minute. The method was used to improve my eye coordination and focus, which would improve my reading focus and prevent other words going to different sentences. I would rate this a solid 3.5. But honestly, because it gradually sharpened my focus and it developed my reading, but because I woke up, I felt super dizzy, making me feel lightheaded. Now, it wasn't the best method, but it was helpful. Next is total recall, which is another technique my mad scientist mom cooked up in her cauldron to improve my test in attention and retaining information. This will consist of the most confusing instructions. Say, for example, I would have 5 instructions. Fold the paper into half, cut it into a triangle, put it on top of my pillow, and another one in my pocket. Now, that sounds pretty simple, right? But that was the easiest one. And my mom would make me do 15, 20 instructions, and I had to remember everything she said. Even my younger brother, who doesn't have ADHD, had trouble following these instructions, and he thinks he's smarter than me. Because of this, I developed my development of memory skills, improved my attention to detail, which benefited me in the future in terms of memorizing and retaining information throughout my life. A solid 4.5. Next off, we got the pink hula hoop of death. Now, because my social cues and understanding of space were difficult, my mom would attach a pink hula hoop around my waist to show the necessary distance I needed to keep from another person. The hula hoop was bright pink, by the way, causing me to feel extremely embarrassed, allowing me to learn my lesson even faster. It almost took my mom probably an hour to convince me to do this, and I got the biggest public humiliation of my life. Thanks, Mom, but I still love you. Honestly, without this skill, I would have never been able to make friends and valuable lessons of embracing space between each other's person to create personal growth and connection with others. A solid 4.5 out of 5, but it would have been a 5 out of 5 if it wasn't pink. Now, after showing my personal experiences, what am I trying to tell you? I hope to show a first-hand experience of what it's like to be challenged with disabilities and emphasize the struggles of overcoming them. I want to highlight how people's disabilities are not just overreacting, and they're facing their own challenges and difficult, and it's completely different from neurotypical Brits. You see, when people dismisses our struggles with a simple "suck it up" or "it wasn't even that big of a thing," it undermines the real challenges that we face. Although it does seem simple, people often forget how challenging simple tasks, such as maintaining personal space, can be. I know, it was a strange struggle for myself, but it almost took me 4 years to get the hang of it, and I'm still working on it. I'm not saying that I know everything about ADHD. Believe me, I have so many things I don't really know about. But from my own personal experiences and the support of people around me, my mom, dad, grandma, brothers, and I cannot forget my learning support teacher who gave me a special magical ruler that allowed me to track myself when reading, and my elementary school teacher who walked me patiently of how I offended people instead of simply telling me how I was wrong, and the school nurse who shielded me for hours whenever I felt down, which allowed me to become stronger, providing encouragement and support during obstacles. Their unwavering belief in me allowed me to have faith in myself, become a beacon of hope at difficult times. Each word of encouragement, gesture, and comedic jokes that they provided me provided an illuminating path to give me courage. They're the real heroes in my story. I guess what I'm trying to say is the support given from people to disabilities, no matter how simple it is or small it is, can reshape a person's life, providing the same sense of comfort that their families and my few teachers have done throughout my life. These challenges themselves built me up, and the amount of failure followed my success is clearly seen. Now, there is no set behavior for each single disabled person, but by keeping an open mind and not being judgmental, even a 5th grader like myself can feel proud of their reading capabilities and build confidence to keep pushing. Because in the end, it's not about fixing and changing an individual's disability. It's about accepting our individual uniqueness. Thank you.